So I'm feeling in high adventure and I'm partnering with Jeanice Cummings today. Jeanice, welcome in.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here today.
I'm sorry you can't see me. You know why? Because I put on my red lipstick and now my red lipstick doesn't get to be shown.
I hate that. I really hate that. I love my red lipstick.
Janice and everybody listening, this is not really just about me, but I love playing. So I'm just kind of making a joke of such a heavy, heavy atmosphere that we are lifting today because we have our ups and downs every single day. Can you share more about what you do, my friend?
Well, I work with high achieving women, and we have so many of them all over.
Yes, we do.
And and to work with them to stop the cycle of toxic relationships. And we know toxic is different from abuse, but one can lead to the other.
Mm-hmm.
And um, my program is You Win Working with Me. So I work with these women so they can build the courage, the confidence, and the capacity to move forward because most of the time they're stuck or they continuously keep making the same errors in relationships. So that's what I do. I work with them so they can change that pattern and create the life that they want for themselves.
Oh, I love that so much, my friend. We are at Fresh Talks Global Vision. We really focus in on being able to partner with others, and ours is Speaker Locking Arms. We look at the global vision of if we speak our vocals and be able to express authentically who we are, and to be able to hold that space so when people need it, they're ready to be able to hear what you are sharing. And sometimes it's just a lot of love, and sometimes when we give a lot of love, if that person's not ready for it, they can think you're crazy. I've given lots of love and someone goes, yeah, you're really not that nice. That's pretty obnoxious. But we're talking to you who are listening that really are seriously looking for that motivation. And so my question to you is, what are you feeling is out there in how you get to see how this world has space to change and to feel alive every day? What are the things you're doing out there and what's your vision?
Well, my vision is to sustain a program that empowers women by fostering a sense of worthiness, pride,
Mm-hmm.
and self reliance, because those are things that I didn't have at some point in my life. And I was able to see how they contributed to a lot of my negative choices, my unhealthy choices. So that's my vision, is to empower women to really love and believe in themselves and see how valuable we are. That's
Mm.
that's the vision.
Oh, my friend. In your latest book, can you do you have one or two books, my friend?
I'm sorry, what did you say, dear? I didn't get that.
Do you have one or two books? I want to make sure that.
I have two books. One is called Splashes Through Life, and it chronicles my writing from a young girl all the way to adulthood. And it was part of my healing journey. It became part of my healing journey. And Give Me One More Chance is the most recent book, and it talks about toxic behaviors in women, and it offers examples on how you can work towards taking the steps to begin to make that change in that mindset. So, yes, both of them have been very healing for me, and
Mhm.
sharing my story has been the most healing gift of all, really.
Oh, I love that. In your writings, when you were putting that together, I know me having two books also, you get in this space that is like just builds even more base about what you're doing. What's your vision out there for women and how you want them to be loving and creating in life? What's that ooziness that you know that you're here on this earth to be able to support others?
Well, I feel like it is to connect women closer to one another because sometimes we act like we're not on the same team. So
Mm, Yeah.
We need to be on the same team because we're working towards the same things in many ways. And, for our families to be healthy, for us to be healthy, we can only do that when we're connected.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see. I want to see that connectedness because we have it. We just might have to tap into it and bring it out again. But it
Yeah.
is in us. It is.
Is that a safety thing, Janice? Is that a safety thing? Like you're protecting your heart and you have and maybe an emotional IQ, like you're just not able to get there to really open up and love on other women. So you kind of recoil back and you don't have your heart isn't like really warm in that space. And so we can maybe naysay other women and be abrupt and rude or judgmental. You know, those things where we hear women say,
Yes.
those women, or the things that we hear, because you and I spend a lot of time being around women
Mhm.
loving people, but
Mhm.
you are saying, we still need to do some work out there. So
Yeah.
in all these years, what are you feeling?
We do because really a lot of women have had bad experiences with other women. I've talked to
Yeah.
them on a lot of occasions, and not a whole bunch, but they do have reason to be suspicious. I mean,
Mhm.
but what we want them to realize is that everyone is not like that. And so
Yeah.
don't put everybody in the same category and
Mm.
let people's deeds speak for themselves, not your perceptions, because they're often not very valid all the time.
Yeah, so I hear about like starting to listen to yourself and listen to your intuition and allowing that to help guide you. Is that when you think about like some of the tools that may need to be needed out there to be able to open up, what are some of the things that you do to be able to help women not just vocally say, hey, let's talk about this because there are other women out there? What are some of the things that you are able to do to help them get connected with safety around other women?
Acceptance of yourself, because a lot of times it's hard to accept things from other people if you don't accept who you are. So
Mhm.
acceptance is one of the big things. I accept myself and I accept you. And then begin to trust you. It's some work, it's an investment. But if we
Yeah.
don't invest, it's going to go downhill all the way. We're going to really be separated from each other because really separateness is really marketed to me right now. I mean, in the
Mhm.
whole. I mean, everything's separate. You can barely talk to anybody on the phone anymore. So, acceptance to me is very, very important. And creating a safe space where women can come and feel comfortable. When I accept you, you feel comfortable being with me. And I
Oh.
think those are a part of the things that need to happen. And
Mhm.
we all have to join in. It's a collaborative.
Mhm. Oh, Janice, I believe so. I know when I started talking about that, I'm going to create a group called Vitality Heart Community. And I also started, claiming that we have the strength to stop the shaming and the blaming in this world. And it doesn't mean 100% everybody. I'm speaking to those people that, really break those barriers of really being able to change. Because in general population, we hear, oh, they're just the same. They're never going to change. That kind of negativity. But we're in this world where we see people make but ourselves first, and then
Yes.
being able to see people make that transformation. So how can you share about your story and your transformation that you needed to go through to be able to really see that this is authentically true? And I'm sorry, the reason why I'm saying I'm sorry because I just want to backtrack just a moment here. The reason why I'm asking this question is really holding the space of what we're doing here. We have 12 days of experts coming in, and we're saying that we are helping and supporting in the transformation. So your story to me is just like gems right now. I'd really appreciate for you to share how you got to the safe space to be able to hold space for other women.
No problem. Actually, Of course, there was a journey to get here. It didn't happen overnight, but I started off, when I started off, I came from a background of domestic violence. So I'm a survivor of childhood trauma. But um, in a way, that trauma has led to me doing this work. It sounds
Mhm.
crazy, but um,
So
uh,
good though, huh?
yeah, it is. It's a surprise in a way, though, because when it's going on, you're not really that excited about it. You don't want to be a part of it, and
Mhm,
but once you're called to do it, it becomes a pleasure and it becomes an honor. So, um, coming through that kind of situation, my feeling about myself, I didn't see any value in myself. I didn't show any of my talents. I didn't believe in myself. I was my worst critic. I was always criticizing myself, comparing myself to others.
mhm.
But the focal point came actually when I got sick, because I had been repressing. When I left that environment, I went to college, and then I came to California to hang out with my dad. I
Mhm.
left that environment, but I still had that load. It
Yeah.
and I didn't know what it was. But having to work in a battered woman's shelter, it all came to a head. It all
Mhm,
came out. It all started spilling out all over the place, and I had to deal with it. And that was the blessing. The
mhm.
blessing was in doing the work and the healing, because
Can
I
you
wouldn't
share?
be where I am if that hadn't happened.
I love that. Like God was bringing you something
Yeah.
that I need
Uh-huh.
that experience. And I'm noticing that journey with me with just recently, 7 years ago, leaving thyroid hypothyroid medicine, and all of a sudden my body transformed and my face transformed into not really looking like me. I had to recognize myself in a different way, and it brought me into creating a whole healthy world that I didn't have. And so, not anymore about me. I want to go right back into
Mhm.
you. With that transformation, I noticed that it helped me with being able to be there for others, but I felt very raw, vulnerable. I cried a lot at first because it was something new in my heart to open up. How did your what happened for you as you were discovering these things about yourself and changing your mindset and your flow?
Well, I had to go to therapy. I I
Mhm.
I volunteered to go to therapy because all in the back of my mind, I kept seeing something was wrong,
Yeah.
because I was depressed a lot. And it was kind of like I was kind of looking forward to depression, almost like I deserved it,
Mhm.
you know. So I knew something was wrong. And then being in that environment and remembering, I went to therapy, and I would go to therapy twice a week consistently, and the tissues would be wet from crying. And because a lot of times we think some of that's our fault, that
Yeah.
we did something maybe bad that we didn't need to do, that we deserve it.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and it's very, very confusing, and you need someone to help you sort it out.
Yeah.
A therapist, a life coach, somebody has to be there, guide you through the journey,
Yeah.
because you can't make it by yourself. That's why we need each other.
Yeah.
We need each other. So that's how I got started. I got sick and I went for help.
So that seems to be the theme, huh? Like it would be fabulous if we have people out there that feel like they've had, like this wholesome background, and they are, struggling in life, but they don't have like things to pull them up from where they are because they're learning in a whole different journey. So I have a feeling that this
Mhm.
conversation really wouldn't be for them. I think that's kind of a different flow in life. I'm hoping that they are consistently finding new ways to show up too. But
Mhm.
I'm understanding that, and all the work that I've been doing over the years too, is that there's some gift, and it doesn't feel like it at first, and it's very painful to really
It
not be a
is.
victim anymore. And I No, Janice, I want to slow down for a moment here because you were
Mhm.
sharing, like, hey, it's not my fault. I believe that so much. Like, everything that's happened to us, no, it's not your fault, but it's the taking on the ownership of right now, the emotions, and how can I let that go so that I feel like a leader, feel empowered, so I don't feel pushed down. And, like I had somebody that would like stick their tongue out at me and go, and like,
Mhm.
and like all these things. Like I just felt like I wasn't being seen and heard. I felt
Yeah.
like I was being made fun of all the time, which I just felt
Mhm.
so small. And so if somebody would just look at me, I would go through those emotions of somebody taking pictures of me because they thought that it was funny, that I was so sad and actually
Mhm.
pretty darn scared. I just don't know how to explain it. So
Yeah.
can you share a motivational thing that you like to do to help people feel inspired? You got the last part here, my friend. I'd love to hear some of your wisdom and words for our viewers.
The motivation is a lot of times, even with myself, we do things and we don't even acknowledge how important those things are that we do.
Yeah,
'Cause just the other day, I remembered that I'm an infant massage instructor. I've been teaching parents massage and caregivers. So the way that I usually start off is let's look at your accomplishments. Let's
yeah,
look at where you come from. Let's see what you've accomplished because we rarely toot our own horns enough at all.
yeah,
So I start with the belief number one that I believe in you. Even if you don't believe in yourself, I know you can do it. And then we start looking at some of your accomplishments. And then we start looking at some of your patterns.
yeah,
What are they inherited? They may have been inherited. They may not even belong to you. So we start going backwards just a little, not all the way back, just enough to to see how we can eliminate some of those barriers so you can move forward with your life.
yeah.
Yeah. If we believe one thing about people, and I think Maya Angelou, I know Maya Angelou, people always remember how you made them feel.
I love that. I love that quote.
Always. Always. You can say what you want with your mouth, but
Yeah,
honey, they feel you. And they feel you if you real or if you fake or if you phony. So
yeah,
it's just it's
yeah,
there. So that's how I do. I start building them up and start reminding them of the positive qualities that they have going on already.
hmm. I love your space so much, my friend.
Thank
What's
you.
your latest book and how can they get it before we exit out of here?
Well, my latest book is on Amazon, and it's called "Give Me One More Chance." And usually, she kind of gives them a lot of chances and they give each other a lot of chances. So it's on Amazon. It's an ebook, but I'm going to get some paper copies as well. And again, if you're just trying to get it together, because I was hanging out with my brother, I'm going to make a little short story here. And he was saying, wow, um, those good men are going to get mad at you because you're taking their woman away. I said, that's not really what I'm doing. And my brother is really comical, really he is. And I don't want them to think I'm breaking up relationships. I'm not, I'm not doing that. I'm having her begin to love herself so
Yeah,
she makes decisions that benefit her. Well, I didn't
yeah.
go into it with my brother because he was already stuck on me being you know, a home wrecker, but I'm glad he told me that though.
Yeah.
You see
Well,
what
and
I'm
it's a
saying?
it's a way to hear some naysaying of what you're doing too, because your brother's funny and and perceives a certain thing. But what's really fun to acknowledge is that
Yes.
if a relationship is not working at the capacity that it can, meaning everybody feels really good and positive, very healthy, then that's a good thing. Why would that would never break anything of that up? But it's
No, but
the
he,
idea
he got
to
me to
be
thinking. He got me to thinking though. I said, oh no, healthy relationships are what we all striving to market and to be in and to just cultivate for the next generation, not just us.
Yeah. Yeah. I love you, my friend. Thank
I
you
love you
so
too.
much.